Jan-Michael, I guess on paper, let's take a sort of helicopter view of this match. Zverev is probably most people's favourites in terms of, the slightly higher ranking. He's won more titles. He's got a bigger game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he has a little bit bigger game, certainly a little bit bigger forehand. He's willing to take a few more risks on the forehand side. Coric at times can be a little tentative on that forehand. I think today for Borna, he's going to have to take some risks on the forehand side. I think that the cross-court exchange is a big one between these two. I give the edge to Zverev there. I think the backhand's pretty equal for both of them. They're both adept hitting it cross-court and taking the ball up the line. Nice little start here for Borna. Some pretty good first serves so far. Both these guys return extremely well. I think on the second serve side of things, Coric's second serve is a little more dependable. Zverev has a little better first serve. Pretty interesting matchup, actually.
Well, there's an early look at the quality of the backhand return from Zverev. Unable to make it count. Does this guy's competitive spirit play a part today? He's one of the toughest, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is. And again, looking at that fitness and how much work he puts in off the court to allow him to have the confidence to go the 5 sets, whatever it might take to get through a match. He's ready to do that. He just goes out there and puts everything he has into it every single day that he steps foot on the court, and it really shines through in his matches. Let's not forget he's been a top player himself, almost the top 10, close to it, and obviously would love to get back there. Still a very young guy. Both of these guys have been on the tour for quite a while. We've seen their faces so much, Lee. We're just used to seeing them, but they're both extremely young and part of the next-gen crew.
Yeah, both 23 years of age. They played in the juniors here, in fact. We'll talk about the head-to-head in a few moments' time. But
Alexander Zverev to serve.
Semi-finals here in the junior event, and Coric won that one.
15 love.
So went on to win the tournament. Beat Zverev in the semis. Thanasi Kokkinakis, the Aussie, in the final. That was 2013 when they were 16 years of age. And he's got the better of the head-to-head as well.
Led for service.
This is their 5th meeting on tour. First since 2018 in Halle on the grass. Coric won that one. Zverev won in Miami on the hard that same season. They played again here. That was in the men's draw 3 years ago. Coric winning that one, so he'll be trying to draw upon those good memories. And he won their first meeting on tour as well, 2015. So leads the head-to-head 3-1, plus the junior win. That's got to help today.
Yeah, those kinds of things actually do matter when you've played a guy through the juniors a little bit into the pros, still have had good results against him in the pros. It could be in both of these guys' minds.
Game Zverev.
For Coric, regardless of the ranking, knowing that you can get through those matches and have good wins against Zverev. It's a big deal.
Couple of business-like holds to get this quarterfinal underway. The very first quarterfinal in the men's singles. Winner of this plays either Carreño Busta or Denis Shapovalov. They play this evening in the top half of the draw today.
Love.
32 in the world. Borna Coric at the moment has been, as you mentioned, Jan-Michael, on the brink of the top 10, number 12, end of 2018. That was his best year on tour. Played some very good tennis towards the end of that season. He's really getting the most out of his game when he was working back then with Riccardo Piatti, the well-known coach based in northern Italy, not too far away from Monte Carlo. Christian Schneider was travelling with him that year, made the final in Shanghai. Of course, he helped Croatia win the Davis Cup at the end of that season as well. Won the Haller event, ATP 500 on the grass that year.
Borna quite likes playing in the grass. He's had great results on that surface.
30-15.
Aided by that good return. If you're a good returner and can make a lot of first serves, hit your spots. Plus, if you're comfortable moving on the grass, happy to put away a few balls at the net these days.
Yeah, he beat a guy called Roger Federer in the final.
It's a decent win on the grass,
That's not a bad one, is it,
Yeah.
for the CV?
Quite the result.
Tell the grandkids about that one. And he beats Federer in Shanghai that year as well. In the semis, lost to Djokovic in the final.
So
that gives you an idea of the quality that Coric can bring to the court. We didn't see that on a regular basis during 2019. It was a season where he started to go backwards in the rankings. 12 to 28, had hamstring problems, abdominal problems, back injuries. In fact, the back forced him out here at the US Open. He was due to play Grigor Dimitrov in the second round, but had to pull out before stepping on court. He lost the last 6 matches of the season last year. So the Coric fans will be pleased to see him back playing some good tennis.
Game
Injury-free, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's probably top of the list, isn't it?
It's 2-1, first set.
On serve, 2-1.
La 15.
So first double fault of the match. That's a number, Jan Michael, that we'll keep an eye on today. It's been an issue from time to time, hasn't it?
It has been an issue for Sasha Zverev, and it continues to be an issue with that slice second serve that he likes to hit. Against a guy like Borna Coric, you can't afford too many of those. He's going to put a lot of balls back in play on that second serves that you do make.
Anyone who watched the Zverev-Andy Murray match from the Western and Southern Open just before the US Open will remember those last couple of service games. There's another, second of the game. He hit 5 in his last 2 service games against Murray and 4 in a row. 2 to finish the game when he was trying to serve it out 5-4, and he opened the next service game with a couple of double faults. Murray putting real pressure on him that day with his court position, which was interesting. He's such a good tactician, Murray, isn't he? Maybe.
There's not many smarter players out there than Andy Murray, especially in the return side of things.
Well, it's the small things, isn't it? But Andy had clearly stepped on court with a premeditated plan of trying to get inside his head, hadn't he?
Well, absolutely. Moving around on the return side of the return is such a good tactic. Let your opponent know, hey, I see what you're doing. I'm going to move. I'm going to take away your best serve. I'm going to move back. I'm going to move up. You can't just stand in the same place the whole match against a good server. If you can get in their head on the second serves, the guy that already struggles with it, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, Murray was a meter and a half, 2 meters inside the baseline at times.
Let, second service.
See Borna there in that last one trying to get pretty close.
Third of the game. Goodness me.
30-40.
Didn't expect us to be in this kind of territory so soon.
What surprises me is Zverev's refusal to work on hitting a kick serve. He continues to slice it. And the slice serve, you just have less margin of error on it.
Halt.
Just deep, the volley. Might be a challenge.
Zverev is challenged by call on the right baseline. The ball was called out.
There is. Let's check out the chase review. First of the match. Coric seems pretty confident, judging by the body language, that this has just drifted long.
It's a pretty good pass as well.
It has. It's missed by a couple
Game
of inches.
serve.
So a break of serve early in the contest for Borna
Coric
Coric.
leads 3-1 first set.
To be truthful, that was a bit of a
Zverev
gift
has
with
2
the
challenges remaining.
3 double faults.
I agree, Lee. A lot of a gift. He only had to work for 1 point. That feels pretty good.
What, please?
USOpen.org, remember, is our online home, and you can download the official app, available in the App Store, Google Play Store. All the scores, schedules, news results, interviews, got it all there. Interesting, Jan Buckle, that you talk about the slice serve. To me, it's clearly a psychological issue. If you're serving 5 in the last 2 games of a match against Andy Murray, you know, it seems to be something that rears its head under pressure. But you think it might be a tactical issue or a technical issue that he can go away and work on?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. You see him actually, he possesses a kick serve. He can hit it. We saw in the very last one in the ad court, he actually kicked that ball a little bit. May not be as confident with it. But when you're double faulting all these times, and a lot of those double faults happen in the deuce court, for whatever reason,
15.
struggles with that, tries to slice the ball. You have less net clearance. It's a little bit tougher to get that racket through when you're a little bit tight. The kick serves allows you to really still hit that serve as hard as the first serve. You're just using a little bit more spin to bring it in the court. Nice amount of net clearance. The idea is to jump out of the strike zone of the opponent. He's almost 6'6", so you could have a giant kick serve. I say have them all. I say have the slice serve. It's useful to be able to change it up, but don't use it as your number 1. Couple of backhanders in this rally in this game for Coric.
And a quick look at his coach, Martin Stepanek, he's working with these days. Czech coach who most recently worked with Thomas Berdych before Berdych decided to hang up the rackets. He's worked with Lucas Dluhy before, and Ivan Dodig as well. That's who he's moved on to since the Riccardo Piatti days. Piatti now working with Yannick Sinner, the young Italian, to keep an eye on in the next few years.
Borna overcooking a few ground strokes in this game. A couple of points to get right back on track for Sasha Zverev.
It's a good serve. It's an area of the game that really showed improvements in that 2018 season. The serve, the forehand got bigger and more reliable, started to play more aggressively.
Yeah, I say for Coric, you know, play defense when you have to. Stay in rallies for sure. But when you get those opportunities, let it rip. He's able to generate a lot of pace.
Let first service.
That's a nice play there. Nice inside-out forehand. One of the things for me, Lee, is the fact that Borna has actually changed coaches quite often. It's every time you kind of look, he's working with somebody different. And the thing for me, as a player and as a coach who coached a lot, is it takes a while to trust that person, to believe in them, believe that what they're doing for you is the right thing. You got to find somebody you really truly believe in and think that they can help your fundamentals or your mental or whatever it might be, or hopefully all of that, and stick with them for a while. Keeps changing his forehand, the motion on it. I think that's tough as a player who's already so established.
Yeah, Thomas Johansson, Miles McLagan, a couple of the other previous coaches.
Both good coaches there. You know,
Advantage.
it's just got to find the right. And I understand if it's not working with someone, change it up. You almost got to give it a year. You got to give it at least that. It takes a while to make changes to have the confidence in those changes and then go do it in matches.
Game, Coric.
That's a really good hold, and it represents a really good start for Borna
leads 4 games to
Coric.
1, first set.
Control 4-1. Backhand's rock solid, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, he loves taking that ball up the line too. One of the things about Borna Coric is he actually quite likes a target. So if you're going to approach against him, better hit a good one.
Love 30.
That's a nice return.
Love 40.
20 minutes on the clock. 3 chances to effectively put this first set to bed.
Fifteen, 40.
Couple of good
30,
serves there.
40.
Be a big one to get for Zverev to get back into, get down 2 breaks.
Zverev was having to the call on the right baseline. The ball was called in.
There's no call. So if this is good, then he's down a double break. It is good.
Game, Coric.
That's just a great shot from Borna. Solid game.
Coric leads 5 games to 1, first set. Zverev has 1 challenge remaining.
Actually earned that one. No double faults in that one.
Yeah, that's one positive, I suppose, but it's been a bit of a ropey first set from Zverev, hasn't it? Coric certainly hasn't had to do anything spectacular so far. Finds himself serving at 5-1 after 22 minutes.
Fifteen love. Thirty love. Thirty, 15.
Coric if he's feeling any signs of nerves. We're not seeing it from him. Very good first set so far.
Forty 15.
12th unforced error from the German. 2 set points for Coric.
Game and first set.
And he's wrapped that up
Coric, 6 games to 1.
in double quick time,
balls,
24 minutes. It's taken for him to ease through that opening set, 6 games to 1.
For me, it's the trick for Borna. I think
Second
that,
set.
you know, haven't been on the court with him
Zverev to
quite a
serve.
bit when I was working with Jared Donaldson, and you can just see how badly he wants it. You can't want it too much. You got to be able to stay in the moment a little bit. He did a great job of it in that first set there. Obviously a pretty easy first set, though. It's
15-11.
nice to have those double faults, make you feel real good to start a match out like that. I'll tell you, having faced that myself a little bit against players. But let's see if Borna can keep this focus.
Yeah, he's got to expect some sort of
39.
reaction from a player of Zverev's quality.
Zverev been pretty cool about it, keeping it pretty internal so far. That's a giant serve.
40
Well, and
11.
that's the flip side, right? I mean, it's massive when it's working, isn't it?
136 up the tee. That was cooking. Not even his fastest serve yet.
Game, Zverev.
135 to finish the game.
First game, second
That's the
set.
kind of quality he can produce.
I agree, Lee. I mean, his first serve is one of the best out there. It really is. He hits it so clean, generates power so easily. Nice trajectory. Obviously, being almost 6'6" helps.
So 55-second service game to kick off this second set from Alexander Zverev. That's more like it.
It's more like a John Isner service game.
Of course, he's had some changes in the
Left
coaching
wing.
department as well, hasn't he, Alexander Zverev? Relatively recently has added David Ferrer, the great Spaniard, to his team. They had a trial period in Monte Carlo just before the tour resumed. Everything seemed to go pretty well. Understand that Ferrer will be alongside him on the clay.
I expected Ferrer to be here as well.
Yeah, because his dad's not here either, is he? Dad's back in Europe. Ferrer's back in Europe, so you're kind of effectively here with playing a Grand Slam without your coach, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a little hard. I think that, you know, obviously with COVID and the whole pandemic, it's difficult to travel, so that could be the issue. That's a nice little put away there from Coric. It could also be that Ferrer wanted him to do it on his own. Maybe he said, go there, and, you know, let's see how you can do by yourself, and then we'll go from there. Pretty savvy guy, had an unbelievable career. I think it's a good move for him to hire the likes of Ferrer.
Yeah, former world number 3, French Open finalist. He won a Masters 1000 in Paris, Ferrer. And you can't do much better than, if you're looking for a coach, perhaps that you know, you would have maximum
13,
respect
15.
for the work ethic, then Ferrer's got to be probably in the maybe top of the list.
Absolutely, he doesn't get any more hard working than David Ferrer. He got every little bit out of himself that he possibly could. And had a good attitude while he did it. Very likable guy. I really enjoyed practicing with him. You knew what you were going to get with Ferrer when you step foot on the practice court.
Not many cheap points, I would imagine.
Not many cheap points. Played him once in Doha. Very early in that match, I realized I'm going to have to play some longer points than I really want to out here.
He's worked with Lendl in the past, of course. There was a brief period with Juan Carlos Ferrero as well.
All quality guys.
Oh, that's nice feel on the move.
40-30.
Not a terrible drop shot from Coric. Not sure why he needed to hit a drop shot there. Could have easily approached. Zverev up to the task.
Game, Coric.
Another hold for Coric.
1 game all, second set.
Nice exchange there for Borna Coric. I think it's important that he wins a few of those long rallies. Zverev is happy to reset the point, hit the ball up the middle, stay in the long rallies until he gets the ball to kind of get a hold of and take control. Nice little signal that he's willing to do the same. Borna Coric.
It'll be interesting to see whether Ferrer can have some sort of effect on the Zverev game. I was working the Cincy event, and one of my colleagues I was working with, Arf Palmer, was in touch with Jez Green, of course, who works with Zverev. As a physical trainer, trying to get an idea of how that test period went, what the ideas were. The theme seemed to be Ferrer wants Zverev to be playing more aggressively, get up the court and use the weapons. Worked hard to stay in the point. Coric eventually finding a way.
What an effort there from Zverev in that one.
15.
Well orchestrated point though from Borna. Moving the ball around the court, this forehand at the line, a good one. See how well that Zverev sees and covers the court. And I think that idea from Ferrer is a good one. I think that taking control of these rallies whenever possible and being offensive for Zverev is in his future, I think, the best way he can be. He already knows how to play awesome defense and restart points, construct points.
Nice two-ball pass. Yeah, I think there was a period, I think perhaps where some of the Zverev fans were wondering why he was camped so far behind the baseline. He can get a little bit negative in the court position at times, can't he?
Yeah, it's almost a little bit passive in the way that he plays points and can outlast a lot of his opponents. So the guys who are ranked a little bit below him feel the pressure of playing those long points, and he gets through a lot of matches because of the big serve. A good return.
Correction, ball's good.
Close ball on the line. I'll be surprised if Zverev doesn't re-challenge it.
Replay the point. (30-15).
It's on my serve anyway, so we're replaying the point.
Hearing that from Hawkeye that
40-15.
Coric ground shot was out. Perhaps won't make too much difference.
(40-30). Deuce.
First serve percentage has been good. It's been pretty successful behind the first serve so far. It's just the erratic nature of those points that are starting with a second serve, whether it's a double or he goes on to lose those points. Just 2 of 8 in the match so far that he's won behind a second serve.
Advantage, Zverev. Game, Zverev.
Coric just checking the mark. Satisfied that was good. It was big, that's for sure.
Zverev leads 2 games to 1.
134
Second
miles
set.
an hour to wrap up game
So
3,
it's
2-1.
1 set to love.
Zverev just starting to settle into this, it would appear. I mentioned the Tsitsipas victory by Coric, of course. 2 sets to 1 down, 5-1 down, came through 7-6 in the 5th in the end. Courtesy of a tiebreak,
15
but
love.
had to work hard against Juan Ignacio Londero from Argentina as well. That was the second round, was down 2 sets to 1 in that one. 3 in the 5th. So he spent a good amount of time on court.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at the stats, he's spent over 3 more hours on court than Zverev so far in this tournament. But I think happy to do so when you make it into the quarterfinals. Feels pretty good.
Yeah, the Tsitsipas match was 4 hours 36.
15
Londero,
all.
4 hours 19. The other two are more straightforward. 2 hours 21 against Andujar and just over 2 hours against Jordan Thompson. So that's pretty much 13.5 hours for Coric and pretty much 10.5 hours for Zverev en route to the quarterfinals. Is that a big enough difference to mean
15,
anything
13.
today, do you think? Or is Borna?
I think with the time off, the days off, I think it's not as big of a deal. The inspiration you draw from getting through this big match here. Again, both these guys extremely fit, ready to go the distance if they have to. If anything, perhaps in a 5th set, it could maybe be an issue. I think if anything, Lee,
30 all.
in a match like this, it's more about the mental fatigue than the physical fatigue for Borna Coric. I think that Got to stay in these rallies a little bit. We've seen a couple of backhand errors in this game. A little bit of trouble he's gotten himself into. Got a lucky little forehand mistake there from Zverev. Can't make too many of the errors like that because Zverev will hone in those ground strokes. Good serve out wide. He's done a lot of work on that one.
First ace. That was Marcelo Melo, incidentally. We had a quick shot of watching this one. Double specialist.
Deuce.
It's a pretty close relationship with Zverev, does Melo. See him on the practice court a fair bit. Relaxing together away from the match court. Seem to be pretty good buddies.
Advantage. Coric.
Good power on that backhand side. Push Zverev back a little bit.
Game, Coric.
A little trickier, but
2 games all.
same outcome. Zverev yet to find a way to break through in this contest so far. The first 4 games of the second set are split, and we are 2 apiece. Just a reminder to head to the usopen.org website to keep track of all the events around the grounds. Last few days we're heading into, of course, this major here in New York. Live scoring, highlight schedule, stats, all the draws, doubles into its latter stages now, down to the semis in the men's and women's doubles. The wheelchair events start on Thursday.
$15 love. Zverev is challenging the call on the right baseline. The ball was called out.
This has missed. It would be an 18th on forced errors, just a 7 from Coric so far.
This ball looked like it did miss long, but we'll get a second look. Oh, wow. It's a good challenge.
There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell that affected him. How? 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 He hit it into the fence and it was on the baseline. He was standing right there. How does that affect him?
I understand what you're saying. I was going to
It's an age-old discussion, isn't it, in this scenario?
Can you explain to me how on earth he would have hit it?
Here's the real time. Let's have a listen.
Zverev is challenging the
You
call
look at
on
the
the right
replay, Zverev
baseline.
has a very good point there. He already hit the ball before the call was made.
But if you're saying the ball did not come in before he hit the ball, then it's my point.
No, it's not. That's not necessarily the case.
Wait, hold on. She's telling me that it's not the case. That's my point. If the call came after he hit the shot, then it's my point. That's what she's saying. She's saying no, it's not. How is that possible? Aber sie sagt mir, dass wenn der Ausruf nach dem Schlag kam, dann ist es trotzdem nicht mein Punkt. Natürlich ist es mein Punkt.
Das so wäre schon.
Ja, aber das sagt sie ja. Sie sagt ja, der Ausruf kam nach dem Schlag und sie sagt trotzdem, dass es nicht mein Punkt ist.
Zurückgeschlagen. Und wenn der Ausruf war, wenn man nicht sicher ist, wenn der Ausruf ist, dann kriegt der Schiedsrichter das Benefit of the doubt und in dem Moment.
Okay, aber sie sagt mir, dass der Ausruf kam nach dem Schlag und sie gibt mir trotzdem nicht den Punkt. Wie kann das denn sein?
In conversation with Andreas Egli, one of the
Replay points.
US Open officials.
15.
It's all going to be in vain, but I would agree with you, Jan-Michael. I think Sasha had a...
Yeah, Lee, it's a valid point. I don't know why they're replaying this point. That's a good answer to it, though,
30
right there.
I mean, it's a tough call to make, isn't it? We obviously have the hindsight of replay, so you can kind of really focus on the shot and the audio of the call. But certainly from the replay, seems to have a point.
That might be just what Zverev needed, however, to kind of light the fire a little bit more and get into this match even more so. I've kind of felt like he's a little bit flat throughout this match. Sometimes you can use those moments to really get the focus.
40-15.
Yeah, I'm surprised she doesn't have on her monitor up there a replay as well. That's a good return from Borna. The Coric forehands looked very solid today. He's been dictating, taking chances on that side.
Let for service. Deuce.
Fifth double fault. Second of the set. Back to deuce, getting a little trickier now. No, it's long. What a wonderful point Coric played.
Great court coverage. Zverev coming forward. That drop shot, it was a good one from Coric. Really nice forehand cross court to get ahead in that point.
This game does slip away. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of reaction comes from Zverev's direction. Break point, Coric. It's well watched.
Deuce.
Zverev taking his time on that overhead. Nicely spotted there.
Advantage, Zverev.
See points won over 9 shots for Coric. Barring that last one, 6-1. 86% of those points over 9 shots is a bit of a surprise. You would expect that Zverev would be winning a lot of those types of rallies. at least a little bit more equal.
Refusing to go away. This is where the attitude is such an asset, isn't it? These kind of games.
Deuce.
Absolutely. Borna is so positive on the court. Kind of just infuses that positivity into his game. Gets himself through a lot of those situations where you see he's down in a match, but he's willing to go the distance in each of the points that he plays if he has to. Miss hit. It looked like indecision in that last forehand. Not sure where he was even trying to take that ball. This game leaves starting to be a long one.
Could be significant. Another break point for the 27th seed.
Let for service.
Of 10 second serve points won in the match so far. And another one goes Coric's way, and he's got the break. A game that began with controversy
3 games to 2
got far too complicated for his liking. 3-2. See whether Coric can consolidate here now with the break.
So far, the thing that I thought would be in Zverev's favor, the forehand to forehand in general, has not been. Borna actually hitting that shot a little bit better today.
Oh, well played, Borna Coric.
What a shot out of the corner. That forehand slide into the corner there to hit this ball back. Getting it nice and low at the feet of Zverev on that pass. Excellent tennis from Coric. Just the second ace for Borna there.
Nice point.
40-15.
Flattening couple of those ground strokes out.
I feel like Zverev's going to have to take some chances on some of these ground stroke rallies, try to wrestle control of these points a little bit. Possibly going to the third set, 2 sets down. Still a chance to turn this around in the second.
(40-30).
First double fault for Coric. Still just about in control of this 6th game. Again, it's the forehand that misses the target. That's what he thought of that one.
Coric leads 4-2, second set.
We're speculating, well, I'm speculating, Jan Michael, but do you get the feeling that maybe if you got inside the head of Alexander Zverev today, this is about the size of the opportunities? He's not playing well, let's face it, so far, is he?
No, he hasn't really played great so far, and Coric is going to really make you earn it in his matches. Zverev hasn't been doing really anything at the normal level that he's been playing. We heard him talk about it before the match. A little bit about how in his matches previous to this, he hasn't really been playing his best tennis, but he's happy that he's gotten through them. It's an interesting thing to say. It doesn't sound all that confident. So you go into a match like this against a guy who's beaten you quite a few times, and you know what you're going to get with Borna.
Yeah, I wonder whether there's that sense of deja vu when you have got a bad record against a player. You lose that first set. Does that come into your mind sometimes?
Absolutely. I played Andre 13 times, and every time I went out there against him and lost the first set, I was like, uh-oh, this is not looking great.
40-love.
This is a better game.
Game, Zverev.
Love hold, just to get things a little more back on track.
Leads 4-3, second set, and by 1 set to love.
Borna Coric getting into the kind of territory where he'll be looking to open up a 2 sets to love lead here. Set up 4-3 serving.
Love 15.
Hasn't given too much away to date. Don't want to take anything away from how Borna Coric has gone about his business in this match, of course. Referring to our conversation in the previous game about Zverev's level.
No, I think that Borna's played very solid. Won a lot of the longer rallies. I think the message he needed to send. You're willing to stay in and win those rallies.
He's really matured over the last few years as well, hasn't he, Borna Coric? I remember watching some of his matches back when he was, I say, a youngster. Not exactly old, of course, 23 years of age, but there was almost too much emotion, too much intensity at times. But does a much better job of managing his emotions these days.
Ooh, nice forehand there to put that one away. That's what we're asking of Borna there on the forehand side. Execute, hit it big when you get opportunities like that inside the paint in front of that baseline.
Made me smile actually. I was listening to an interesting interview with his coach Martin Stepanek last night, which was on ATP Tennis Radio. A friend of mine was conducting the interview, and he'd been in Rio, and he was watching Borna at breakfast time at the Player Hotel, and he was observing how meticulously he spreads his avocado on his toast, and he used that example in the interview.
That's interesting.
Of how much of a perfectionist he is, you know, and he asked Martin Stepanek, you know, I know it's a strange thing to say, and he said, it's funny you say that, because it does give you an indication of Borna's personality, and sometimes that can be restrictive. I'm just trying to get him to chill out sometimes and accept that everything can't be perfect as a tennis professional.
Yeah, I think you can see in the way he carries himself. You know, some players out there do have, I know myself, I had quite a bit of OCD. Things need to be just right. Borna might be some of the same way with him.
I suppose so. You don't want a negative reaction on those days where things are out of your control.
Yes.
Is that the
yeah, exactly. You kind of wanted to have the things you can control, you want to control. And it reminds me a little bit of Rafa Nadal. You watch how Rafa and I actually share the same birthday, June 3rd. It's funny, and we put the drinks in the same little spots, being years apart, but still we have these similarities, which is kind of strange. And it's Rafa has that same kind of OCD, like he wants things to be in his control that he can. I would say Borna's maybe a little bit similar.
He's done well to work his way back into this game, Zverev. Now with a chance.
Advantage, Zverev.
It's been a little bit sloppy this game. It's just allowed Zverev back in.
Bit of a surprise. We haven't seen that many unforced errors so far in this match from Borna. Just 12 on the match.
Coric is into the call on the left center service line. The ball was called out. Second serve.
Cheap.
Yes.
Frustrate Zverev.
Coric has 2 challenges remaining.
It's just one of those balls right there on that backhand side. You just cannot miss that on break point. No reason for it. Maybe lack of footwork there.
Well done.
Coric is into the call on the right baseline. The ball was called in.
Looked pretty good to me. Had enough topspin on this, I thought, to bring it down. Oh, just in time. I didn't think it was that close.
Borna actually thought that ball was long. If you looked at his
Advantage.
face, he was a bit surprised.
Zverev. Coric has 1
A
challenge
strange
remaining.
choice on that drop shot. He actually got up to that ball quick enough to hit it for a little drop shot. Easily chased down by Zverev.
Another chance then. Zverev's 4th of the match, non-converted so far. It's good.
Game.
Just enough spin to
Zverev.
bring that down in time. It's the reaction from the team. They'll be hoping that this is a turning point in this contest.
4 games all. Second set.
Zverev finding a couple of lines in a row. That's a nice pass there. Big point, finally getting through one of those break points he's had.
See whether that break of serve can just allow him to play with a little more aggression and freedom. 4 apiece. And see what kind of
15 love.
effect it has on Coric.
Borna didn't have much of a reaction to that last break. I was a little surprised that both those balls landed on the line, maybe. Sees Zverev all of a sudden grunting a little bit more on his strokes. It's a good sign for him.
Love.
Jess Green on the left. He's been with Zverev a decent amount of time now. Helped him develop the body.
Game.
Oh, there's
Zverev.
a bit of emotion.
New balls,
Perhaps
please.
that's been lacking so far. Starting to come to life.
Zverev leads
5-4.
5 games to 4, second set. Coric leads by 1 set to love.
Coric was up a break. We're back on serve. 4-5 now.
Love. 30 love.
Another good forehand there from Coric. So far in this game showing little sign of the fact that he was broken the game before.
It's a lovely readjustment, wasn't it? Just moving in the wrong direction. Put the brakes on.
30-15.
It's a great get in the corner. Coric deciding to go back up the line with this. Paying for it. Zverev had an answer. That's a good ball there. Not easy to change your momentum that fastly.
Yeah, especially a guy that size. Just a flick of the wrist.
Borna persistent going into the forehand side yet again.
40-15. Game Coric.
That's a good game there for
5 games
Coric. Pretty clear plan in
Second
that one.
set.
Take everything into the forehand corner, go behind Zverev. Successful 2 out of the 3 times.
Five apiece, evenly poised. This second set. It's got the feel, hasn't it? One of those very important passages of play in a 5-set contest.
Fifteen love.
The set slips away from Zverev. It's a mountain to climb, but if Coric does allow this second set to slip through his grasp, different story, different kind of momentum.
That last second serve, by the way,
30 love.
133. Seen Zverev do that a few times in this tournament, going for the as a second serve, hitting it first serve as a second serve. He's pretty successful making those when he does so.
Forty love.
Oh.
40-15. Forty 30.
Another one in the double fault column. Just got to be careful now. 40 love to 40-30. Coric lurking.
Game Zverev.
Again, a huge roar from Zverev after the hold of serve.
Zverev leads 6 games to 5, second
Moves ahead
set.
6-5.
Coric leads by 1 set to love.
Borna Coric then for a second time, serving to stay in this second set. Did a good job first time round. Looking to take us into a break at 5-6.
More good stuff from Borna there. He's been hitting that inside-out forehand extremely well.
15
Zverev
love.
defends that backhand excellently. One of the best at it. Borna getting ahead in the points nonetheless.
Hugo in the white t-shirt. That's Zverev's physio. Long-term member of the team.
Let second service.
Take that if you're Zverev. Riding his luck, complete
15-0.
shank with a return. And it turned into a really awkward ball to deal with, didn't it?
It did. Borna actually looking down at the line, thinking that ball might have been long, but it did catch the line.
Thirty 15. Out. Thirty.
Bit of a late call on that one up the line, but Borna no challenge. Saw that ball wide himself.
Coric serve under examination here. Game 12. 5-6, 30 all. What a time to find a
Zverev is challenging the call on the left serve. The ball
good
was called.
first serve, although Zverev just wants to make sure. I thought it looked well in.
40-30.
Eyes might be deceiving.
Zverev has two challenges remaining.
It was well inside.
Game. Coric.
Responded well under a bit of pressure.
6 games all. Second set tiebreak.
So a tiebreak will settle
Each
this
player
second set.
receives one additional challenge.
Well, barring that one break game, the serves look pretty good from Coric. Finding some good spots when he's needed them. Going to need him in this tiebreak. Tiebreak record for 2020, obviously not playing as many, is pretty close there. 5-4 for Coric, 4-5 for Zverev.
tiebreaks they played
1-0 Zverev.
en route to the quarterfinals. Coric lost one against Londero. That was that 5-setter in the second round. He lost the first set to Tsitsipas on a breaker, but he won the one that really mattered at the end of that match. Held his nerve impressively, deciding set tiebreak to come through that third round contest after all the drama in the fourth set. Zverev's played two, excuse me. No, three. I'll try again. Dominic Thiem is enjoying a bit of sunshine. 1-1 against Anderson in the first round. Lost one against Nakashima in the second round, and he lost the first set on a tiebreak to Adrian Manarino. In round 3.
Coric.
Fernando Vicente, the coach of Andrei Rublev, keeping a close eye on this as well. Good win for Rublev yesterday over Matteo Berrettini in 4 sets. Rublev to play Medvedev down in the bottom half, an all-Russian quarterfinal.
Certainly was. I did that match. Super impressive. Rublev after that first set. It lights out.
I watched a bit courtside of that one.
2-all.
Thank goodness me, those boys were hitting the ball hard, weren't they?
They certainly were. A giant. Rublev finding his range in those last 3 sets. Just excellent ground strokes and serving.
Team to play Alex de Minaur in the quarterfinals tomorrow. That's the other.
Coric is into the call on the right
To play
side
down in the
line.
bottom half.
The ball was called in.
Borna with a quick challenge here. He seems pretty sure of himself. See what we get.
Second service.
It's a great challenge. 2 apiece, second serve. There we go.
3-2
Double faults,
Coric.
just coming along at the wrong time, perhaps. We'll see whether that one costs him.
And again in the deuce court. That's where he seems to struggle with it the most, at least today.
If you didn't see the first set, he threw 3 in a single game to get broken early on in the match. That's 7 for the match now, 4 in this second set. Cagey exchange.
3-all.
Zverev eventually drawing the error. You can almost feel the tension watching that kind of rally, can't you?
Yeah, I was kind of watching that and was seeing who's going to bail out of this one first. Are we going to see a drop shot here from one of these guys? Didn't get a dropper. They're really digging in. I love his technique when he gets in those situations. He gets way underneath the ball with those legs. Nice knee bend, especially in that backhand side, allowing himself to get a little clearance on the net. Give himself that margin that we often see from Zverev in winning those long rallies. Though today, Borna's been in all those long rallies and won quite a few himself.
on the backhand, but he's pulled it wide.
4-3, Coric.
Coric gets his nose in front again. Feels like such a significant 5 minutes this in the context of the match.
It's a nice little follow-up to that big serve there from Zverev.
4-0.
It's a big deuce court point here for Zverev. Make that first serve so you don't have to hit the second.
Oh, that was a chance. Completely
5-4,
misused the forehand.
Zverev.
Kind of backhand that Coric normally swats away.
Last ball getting just a little bit out of the strike zone on the two-hander. It's a bit of a shank there from Zverev. Fantastic return off that first serve from Coric to get in that point. It's the kind of ball you want to take a little bit of a chance on coming forward. Had the look.
Let for service.
Shortish ball. Coric would expect to make
6-4, Zverev.
a couple of costly misses.
Borna really earning opportunities in both those last points. That forehand there up the line, you have to make that shot. Simple as that. He got inside the baseline. Short ball by Zverev. Zverev happy to stay in that point. Force his opponent to hit the big shot. A couple of set points for Zverev.
No mistakes that time. Got a good angle with the
6-5,
forehand.
Zverev.
He forces Zverev to close this out. See whether the German can rely on the serve when he needs it the most. Second set point.
Game and second set,
converts.
Zverev.
Another huge draw.
7 games to 6.
And
One set all.
Zverev edges a nervy breaker. It's game on inside Ash.
La 15.
If this match escapes Borna Coric, Jan Michael, as a tennis professional, when matches get away from you and you try and process exactly what's happened off the court, maybe later this evening, through the night. Who knows? Tough to sleep sometimes, isn't it, after the tough defeats? Are those couple of misses in the breaker the kind of shots that you replay in your mind? Those were a couple, felt like a couple of big shots. Those.
Yeah, they were huge shots. That tiebreaker, especially at the end of it there, was on Borna's racket. He did the hard work in those rallies. He played well to get the shorter balls. A couple of them I feel like he could have done a little bit more with his feet, a little bit more adjustments to get up to those shots. If you reach for the approach shot, it can be very difficult, but really in the end, you have to make those shorter balls, especially against a player like a Zverev, or at least make him hit a passing shot. Yeah, those ones are definitely the shots of nightmares should this match not go his way.
Long way to go, of course. Best of 5 formats.
30-15.
We've already witnessed the fighting qualities that Borna Coric brings to a tennis court during this tournament. That match against Tsitsipas was, well, you had to see it to believe it, really, didn't you? The way he wriggled out of trouble on that occasion.
I think this matchup's a little bit different, though. These little bit longer rallies. We're seeing quite a few longer rallies, especially in the second set there. Saw a few in the first. Obviously, Tsitsipas he'll stay in the longer rallies, but he's so offensive with his ground strokes, happy to come forward as quickly as possible. Felt like Coric just trying to fight for his life in that match, a lot of those points.
Game Coric. First game, third set.
Well, just what the doctor ordered, if you're Borna Coric. The disappointment of letting that second set slip away. Early hold of serve early in this third. Points one behind the second serve stack would still be a worry if Zverev was shown that number at this stage. Just 38% of second serve points won for the match, 6 of 16.
Love 15. $15 all. $15-30.
Oh, that's beautiful. It was a really nice forehand initially, wasn't it? The pass, but casual low volley.
That's a great shot right there. See how low fundamentally he gets on that volley to make sure he can make that shot. First serve. 74% of first serves in for Zverev is a very good stat. He has the woes in the second serve, the first serve. Quite good.
Game, Zverev.
I'm pretty pleased with that from 15-30, especially the quality of that volley
One
at
game all,
15-30.
third set.
Important not to hand the initiative back to Coric too quickly. After all the hard work he's invested, turning that second set around.
Here we have a look at how much they've ran on the court so far. Obviously excluding this match, I believe. Coric with 9.04 miles run. Zverev 3 miles less. But that's quite a bit of travel for both these guys.
Love 15.
Beautiful feel. It really is, just taking the pace off out of
15.
nowhere.
Wow, that's some really solid defense from Zverev in this point. See how much he makes you work to get these points done. Borna with fantastic feel on that last forehand dropper. So pretty solid in the drop shot so far today. George coming up on the winning end of a lot of those types of points.
Oh, nice. Very nice. The court coverage and the required whip on the ball to bring that back down.
15,
Watch
30.
how far back in the court Zverev starts on the sprint forward. Good little flick to draw that in the court, way in the court and around Borna. This is why you don't want to go to the drop shot too often, especially against a player who moves as well as Zverev.
Thirty.
No, he's missed it. Put himself in a good position.
Thirty, 40.
It's a nice play. Just overcooking that volley a little bit. He was in the right spot. It's part of the pressure that Zverev puts you under when he retrieves as many balls as he does back in the baseline. Forces his opponents to go for a little bit more than they want. Saw that in the last tiebreaker. Those errors on the approach shots from Coric.
First chance of the set. That is
Game Zverev.
the sweetest of backhands, isn't it? Produce that kind of quality on break point.
Zverev leads 2-1.
is in front.
One set all.
He's worked hard to put himself in this position, Alexander Zverev. Down a set and a break, remember. Now up a break early in the third.
Let for service. Love 15.
A lot of those second serve double faults have been into the net. That one going way long.
Oh no, opens the game
Love 30.
in the worst possible manner. That's 9 double faults now for the match. It just seems to come out of nowhere, doesn't it?
Agreed, Lee. And they, well, it clearly is. He's thinking about it a little bit. Seems to come on pressure points, but I don't see the pressure. He just broke. Should feel pretty good about himself.
I guess it's a vicious cycle, isn't it? Because as any
Love
tennis
40.
player will tell you, you lose confidence in your serve, it filters through to the rest of your game.
Oh, it certainly does. Absolutely. And anybody can lose a tough rally against Borna Coric. He's going to win a few.
Survives the first break point.
15-40.
That forehand up the line, well missed, but really didn't need to go for that much. He could have happily stayed in that cross-court forehand rally, ripped that cross-court a little safer.
Second one slips away.
30-40.
Oh dear, it's the overhead that lets him down this
Sorry.
time. And Coric
2 games
hits
all.
back.
Set.
What a peculiar service game that was. Just double faults initially, got back into it, and then the missed overhead. Just a reminder to check out our social channels here at the US Open: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube, to join the conversation. And remember to use hashtag US Open on those platforms. What do you make of that service game, Jan Michael?
Lee, it was a really
15
strange
left.
game. Both guys actually not playing great tennis, but the one thing that I do like from Borna is the fact that he was still trying to take it to Zverev with those groundies that he missed. He missed a couple of, you know, the Love 40 and the 1540. He had looks at hitting winners there, or at least playing longer rally. So for him, that bodes well, and making a forehand like that one right there, still trying to play attacking tennis. You tell yourself, hey, I went for the right shot. I went for the shot that I wanted to hit there. I missed it, so what? You can walk back to the line feeling a little bit better about yourself. I don't really understand the letdown there from Zverev. After getting the break, he should be excited. He seemed excited after he got the break going to the changeover. Not a good service game, obviously, for Zverev.
Love.
Got to deal with the double disappointment as well. If you're Zverev, haven't you? The fact you've just seemingly lost the rhythm on the serve at a key stage of the match, but also you've just thrown away all that hard work in terms of getting yourself back into this and going up an early break in the third when you had all the momentum just so quickly. Seems to have shifted back to Coric.
Nice backhand response there. He's got more work to do here. And I agree. And also the fact that he won the second set after being down a break, gets through that breaker. Rublev,
yeah,
a little more interested in his phone than the tennis, but up there checking it out anyway.
Day off for the Russian today. He takes on Medvedev, his good friend, fellow Russian tomorrow.
Game.
Coric with a comfortable hold. A good passage of play for him.
Coric leads 3 games to 2,
3-2.
1 settle.
Borna just doing a bit of housekeeping. Zverev's side of the net, just moving one of his rackets out of the way. Don't want to collide with that. Important game for Zverev. Having been up a break, back on serve. First set percentage has dropped off in this third set. Be worrying for the German, just 46%. Another overhead missed.
Love 30.
Borna just throwing that ball up there. Successful in the last game, got that freebie. Sort of a freebie after he had to work hard for it, but another overhead at the wayside.
Bit of moisture down there. We saw Borna Coric changing the socks and I think the shoes after the second set. We saw that from Kyle Edmund with Novak Djokovic trying to take care of that baseline area where Kyle had been. You get a lot of moisture coming through the socks and the shoes when it's humid.
Yeah, it's interesting. They go right through the toe of the shoe. That's when the feet get really sweaty. You stop, and it goes right through the toe of the shoe onto the court. It can make it pretty difficult to move. You have to get out there with the towel and clean that up.
Almost hopped over. That would have been awkward.
15-30.
Bit fortunate there for Zverev. Wasn't that great of an approach out. Borna definitely had a look at that forehand pass. good one.
$30.
A little better first serve there, 134.
Oh, that's beautiful. Sensational backhand.
30-40.
Borna getting right up to the line. A good weight transfer coming forward.
Deuce.
Break point saved. A big serve, just at the right time, 130.
Advantage, Zverev.
Not too far away from his fastest of the day. 138 is his biggest so far. That one, 135. That's well played. Coric feels like he's a little more willing to get up the court, and Zverev sitting deep is a little bit susceptible to that play, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of a drop shot, especially for this long point we saw here. Had a little slice off going early in the point. Nice feel in that dropper. That's available to Borna if he can hit it. Well, you got to hit it good, though, against Zverev because he moves forward pretty quickly. He's got some good feel up there at the net, too.
Continues to struggle to win points behind the second serve. Zverev, 3 of 9 in the set. 36% overall for the match. That's 9 of 25. And he's under pressure once more here.
Deuce.
Sasha's been in some trouble in this game a few times, but he's come up with the big serves in that ad court.
.138 that one. Just missed though.
Advantage.
That one not much farther behind it. 132 as a second serve at deuce.
Wow. Did a double take there. Speedy hit that second serve.
Talking too loud, man. I can hear every single word the whole match.
Game, Zverev.
Well, he clings on.
Games on. Third
Helps
set.
with the serve. Coric putting a decent game together, getting irritated by the volume courtside towards the end of the game, but he's come through it. That's the main thing. Set all 3 all. So tough to call this match, isn't it? Perhaps just symptomatic of the situation we're in here in New York, with the absence of of course, Nadal and Federer initially, now Novak Djokovic after the drama on Sunday. It feels like there's quite a bit of tension out there, doesn't it? This sort of match that could just swing either way right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All those things considered, plus these guys both really playing well from the baseline. The second serve woes continuing for Zverev, but getting out of that one with some good first serves. And Zverev kind of up and down in this match. He seems to gain some confidence, some intensity, and then lose it just as quickly. Borna's been quite steadfast, made some unforced errors on some points that, well, he could have been 2-0 up. But breaking that second set.
Zverev is the call on the left far sideline.
No chance, no.
Cancel the order.
40 love.
Another overhead miss, but that one actually a pretty good play from Borna. That overhead not as easy as the last couple that he's missed.
Forty 15. Game Coric.
Fairly comfortable
Coric
hold
leads 4 games to 3.
from the 27th seed. He leads 4-3, third set. Well, it was a fairly lively sit down. Ivat Astaraki Moore, the chair umpire, working hard again. That's a nice pass to start the game.
It's a good pass up the line there. And I think the exchange is this. Zverev wants the court clean before he gets over there, which is actually a fair thing to ask so that he can move freely on the baseline. Borna says, hey, if I can't change my outfit, then there's going to be water on the court. It's that simple. Happy to do it.
And then I think it followed on. I'm not 100%, but I think
15-all.
Chair umpire, if Coric disappears, wants him to disappear immediately. That game is finished. And I think he wants to sit down and have a drink. I could overhear him saying, but I've got to drink first. I've got to drink first.
Exactly. She says, take your water with you. Just take it with you. This time Zverev getting a hold of the slice off, winning that one.
30-15.
Yeah, I think in all fairness, the chair just trying to take control of the court a little bit. Zverev's had some issues with Borna leaving so often. Left a couple times in the second set for those changes of attire.
40-15. Game Zverev. 4 games all, third set.
And we go then. Still nothing to separate these two men. We get into the sharp end of this third set. Perhaps a slight advantage for Coric serving first if he can get the hold here. Trying to apply a bit of pressure. Sometimes that scoreboard pressure, as it's called, can take effect.
15 love. Thirty love.
It's far from straightforward, of course. The tour shutdown for Borna, one of those players who tested positive for coronavirus, was out for around 2.5 weeks, but thankfully no long-term effects.
Yeah, Lee, I think that's a big one for him. No
30-15.
seemingly long-term effects that can affect the lungs. Thankfully, in Borna's case, maybe because of his fitness or just hopefully he got it a very mild case, it doesn't seem to have really hurt him too badly.
$40-15. Game Coric. Coric leads 5 games to 4, third set.
Well, with the
One
volley,
total.
made that look easy. Game away, 5-4.
Borna pretty quick into the tunnel there. Back out.
He's going through the kit today.
$15 love.
Zverev has been pretty unhappy with the court being a little bit wet back there. Tell you what, I'd grab a spare towel and go back there and just do it myself. Make sure that my side of the court was ready to go.
Great return. Gosh, he was onto that quickly.
I love that play. Two-handed backhand in the deuce court, rip it up the line, come to the net. If they can get their racket on it, force them to pass you.
$40-15.
Reaching for that forehand a little bit.
Game. Zverev. 5 games all. Third set.
Pleased he didn't find himself in any kind of pressure situation there. Got off to a decent start in that 10th game. Set all 5-all.
Fifteen love. Fifteen all.
Great first serve percentage in this third set from Coric, 86%. Got to make them when it matters, though. That's the key. Solid volley.
30-15.
It's a good play there from Borna. That's really the play that we saw in the tiebreaker in the second set. He had opportunities like that one. Make that approach, hit a good one, and solid volley to stab it away. Missed a few of those shots. Bit of pressure there, but got through it.
$40-15.
Yeah, it's been a successful element of the game in this third set as well for Coric. That those moves forward, 7 of 9 net points won.
Game Coric.
Beautiful drive volley to end the game.
Coric leads 6 games to 5.
Again, he's just a game away from a 2 sets to 1 lead. Perhaps one of the video walls that surrounds the court this year, 9 of those in place. Maybe that was just distracting him. On we go. See how the serve holds up under pressure.
Love.
I would imagine if it's going to get a little bit wobbly, this is the time it will rear its head.
Nice little pressure play there from Coric.
15-all.
Backhand goes wide. The pressure increases.
15-30.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant movement on such a big point.
Oh, Borna going to the drop shot yet again here. Good
30
feel
all.
in that shot. It wasn't a bad drop shot, but Zverev now looking for that shot in this match. Look at that speed and feel coming forward. Excellent placement.
Thumbs up from Borna. 30 all.
This time Zverev making sure he makes that overhead, just going straight down the middle with it.
40-30.
I just wonder whether Coric is kicking himself for not having a go at the forehand. He didn't really get hold of the approach, did he? It wasn't the biggest of...
No, I was actually surprised that Borna decided to lob that ball. I thought he had to look at a pass.
Game point.
Wide.
First serve's actually been pretty good in this game on the whole. Coric has made a good number of returns, make life difficult. Oh, that was
Game Zverev.
huge second serve, 135.
6
It's
games
one way
all.
to deal with the problem.
Third
And
set
that's
tiebreak.
really, Lee, that's how
Each player
Zverev
receives
seems to have
one
solved
additional
his
challenge.
problems for the most part in the second serve. He still had a few double faults, but just go big on him instead. Let's not worry about that slicer that I'm struggling with.
135 miles an hour, that second serve. That's 4 miles an hour off his fastest serve of the match. Into a tiebreak.
One zero. Zverev.
Didn't quite get through that backhand there. Could be a costly early error for Coric out here.
Yeah, just felt like he blinked a little bit. Tail end of that second set tiebreak. He's got to try and avoid the same happening all over again. Coric.
Two zero. Zverev. Coric is challenging the call on the right service line. The ball was called in.
Zverev looking a little puzzled by call for the challenge. That's why. Not too much wrong with that one. It's well in.
3-0 Zverev. Coric has 3 challenges remaining.
Just started serving really well, Zverev, in terms of the power on the first serve and the numbers he's finding with that first ball.
Sasha Zverev really applying
4-0
pressure in this
Zverev.
third set breaker. In fact, some of his best tennis has come in these tiebreakers, really putting a lot of balls back in play. He knows just when to dial it in on the ground strokes. Doesn't go for too much in those situations.
Martin Stepanek there trying to get his man back on track.
Correction was good. Zverev is challenging the call on the left service line. The ball was called in.
This is good, then it'll be interesting to see whether Borna gets the point. Whether they'll Player that let, it is good.
First service.
Okay, first serve. Still trailing, love 4. Simply had to win that
4-1
point.
Zverev.
If he's going to start to turn this
Zverev
tiebreak
has
around.
3 challenges remaining.
Zverev still in command though with the 2 mini breaks. 4-1 serving. Yeah, finds
5-1
this spot with a big first serve.
It's a good time for a 134 cannon out wide.
Yeah, just seems to have found his rhythm just at the right time in this third set.
As dangerous as it is for him to hit those second serves as first serves, I almost kind of like it for Zverev. Kind of get rid of those nerves that clearly affect him on the slower slice second serve he hits.
Zverev.
He's played a very impressive tiebreak.
It's another second serve at 137. Okay.
5 set points for the number 5 seed. Zverev cruises through the third set breakup.
7 games to 6.
It's one-way traffic.
Zverev
Has he
leads by
done the
2 sets
hard
to
work
1.
in this quarterfinal? Up 2 sets to 1.
Well, we'll see if Borna can have the same kind of fortitude that got him through the match against Tsitsipas, because he's going to need it now against Zverev. He's going to have to go 5 if he wants to win this one.
15 love.
He's been here before Coric, hasn't he? That's for sure. Down 2 sets to 1 in the second round. That was against Juan Ignacio Londero from Argentina. Came back to win in 5.
40 love.
Referenced the Tsitsipas victory. Jan Michael down 2 sets to 1. And 5-1 in that match. Tsitsipas was up 5-4 serving 40 love in that match. Oh, beautiful.
New balls, please.
Lovely court coverage and a crisp volley to finish the job.
First game, 4th set.
Very different feel to the quarterfinals, of course, here at the US Open this year. A lot of talk about that over the last few days. All 8 quarterfinalists under the age of 30. First time that's happened since the 2015 Australian Open. Grand Slam level. And here in New York, got to go back to 2010. No former Grand Slam
15 left.
champions still in the men's draw, so we're guaranteed a new champion.
Very much looking forward to seeing who that will be. Quite a few contenders in there, in my opinion.
Our first Grand Slam champion that will be born in the 1990s.
Borna again with the solid drop shot, that feel on the forehand
Fair
side.
enough.
Been pretty successful on that. This one well disguised.
Do you have a
40
feeling
left.
about who might step up, Jan Michael, given maybe perhaps the quality of the tennis that everybody still left in the draw has produced, or whether they have a certain mental strength that might get them over the line?
It's really sort of tough to call right now. I can see a shot maker like a Shapo getting in there and winning this tournament. I think he's got the tools to do it if you can keep those ground strokes in the court.
James
Big
Coric.
serve. I could see one of these guys, you know, the guys that make you play long points. A Demonar could get through there. You have Rublev in there who's just pounding his ground strokes unrelentlessly. Just it's kind of exciting for me, Lee. I think that it's for the first time in a while. Hard to say, and not hard to say because it's one of the big 3 in there. A little bit tougher to call those guys.
Yeah, you could almost make a case, couldn't you, for all 8 that remain. Different attributes and strengths that those 8
15 left.
bring to the party. Pablo Carreño Busta, nobody's talking about him, but he's made the semis before. He's playing good tennis. He has a decent record over Shapovalov, doesn't he? That's no gimme tonight.
No, it's not at all. And let's not forget Medvedev,
Yeah,
who's actually kind of quietly moving through the draw.
yeah.
He's going to be hard to beat. Played really well against
Left.
Francis
Second service.
last night.
Yeah, and has that experience, doesn't he, of 12 months ago.
Being right there, playing some of the best tennis last summer of anyone.
Left. Second service.
Dominic Thiem, of course, who made the final down in Australia. Almost got it done against Djokovic. Lost in 5 sets. 2 French Open finals as well under his belt.
Yeah, it's interestingly, that's another good point. And I think that what you said before, that a case could be made for pretty much each one of these guys. Nice little moon ball from Borna to get himself back in that point, but Zverev solid.
Forty left.
First point
40.
against the serve in this fourth set. That's good tennis.
Couple of good backhand returns in a row there.
40-30.
Coric backhand, so solid. See if Zverev changes it up or goes into the backhand again. Might see him hit a tee serve here.
Game.
Dared it. Won.
Zverev.
Three fairly
Zverev
routine
leads 2 games to 1.
holds of
fourth
serve
set.
then. Zverev
And by 2 sets to 1.
with the narrow lead, 2-1. Far away from the 3-hour mark for this one now. 2:55 on the clock. Zverev up 2 sets to 1. Coric trying to stay in touch. Take this one the distance now. Hope he's got enough in the legs after doing a fair bit of running already here in New York.
Not up.
No, show a replay. Please show a replay. Can't believe it.
Safe to say he doesn't agree with that call.
I think he thinks he got there. Now I want to see the replay. I didn't think he made it there in time. Let's see.
15-all.
It seemed like a good call. That's tough.
Tough to tell with the net
But
band.
the net
just in
was
the
like
way,
right
wasn't
in
it?
our way there.
Here we go. I'd like to see it a little bit slower, but I thought that was double bounce.
It looked like it could have been. It was real close. Oh, how about that lob? Coric right there. Amazing shot.
And that one's in somebody's suite.
30-15.
One of the players' suites this year.
Yeah. Let's see whether it comes back.
Zverev seems to be playing with a little bit more electricity in his game right now. That was that last point, a good one from him, but well responded by Borna.
Yeah, it was world class, the lob.
Left for service. (40-15). Game Coric.
To really raise his game in
2
that
games all, fourth set.
service game. Midway through, just to make sure he keeps this full set competitive. 2 apiece. It's been so tight since the opening set. Just a reminder to head to the official US Open shop. usopen.org is where to head for 2020 US Open merchandise. Still feels like this match is on a knife edge, even given Coric will have to come through in 5 if he is to survive.
I agree, Lee. Even that fist pump right after that first point. Borna's ready to go. He's ready to see if he can make his mark on this set. He'll take another double fault.
Yeah, double figures
30.
now for the double faults. Number 10 from Zverev. Jez and Hugo just try and get some positive vibes heading in Alexander's direction. No, it's long. Coric doing a good job of just forcing the German to make the pass.
Love 40.
On the 3-hour mark, the Croat with 3 chances. Oh, I thought he might just sneak in there after the quality of the return.
Well, you can't hit a
15-14.
better return than that one. That angle was incredible that he created off that backhand side. Seemingly a little bit of a tentative forehand.
He's missed another after another good return. He's let him off the hook twice now.
30-40.
Look of concern across to his coach, Martin Stepanek.
Just got to realize you're doing the right thing. You're getting those shots that you need to execute on.
See how the second serve holds up. Break point down. He's missed another forehand.
Deuce.
Three opportunities on 3 very makeable forehands for Borna Coric. Unfortunate as well as he's returned in this game.
It's going to be a killer of a game to
Advantage Zverev.
slip through his fingers. It's a fine backhand. Still alive in this 5th game.
Deuce.
Another nice little drop shot there. Forced to hit the pass up to the task. Backing up the line has been a thing of beauty for the most part for Borna Coric in this match.
Gone for the
Advantage Coric.
go big or go home approach again.
And Lee, surprisingly, of the second serves that he's gone big for, that's the first one he's missed, I believe.
4th chance for Coric. Move ahead 3-2. It's a clean forehand. Break point down. He's got to be delighted with that end product.
Deuce.
Fully committing on that occasion. Back to deuce. Deuce number 3 of the game.
Advantage, Zverev.
What a psychological boost for Zverev midway through this fourth if he can finish the job here. He can.
Zverev.
What a hold of serve. 4 break points he sees off.
Zverev leads 3 games to 2 for set.
Nudges ahead. 3-2 in the
And by 2
fourth.
sets to 1.
Let's see whether there's some kind of hangover after the missed chances. It's a nice start.
15 love.
Nice positive, aggressive tennis.
Nice solid rally there
30 love.
for Borna to get through. Positive thing for him after not getting the break in that last game. You have 2 options there, Lee, is you can dwell on it and allow it to affect your play, or you can forget about it, try to move forward, shrug it off. Borna's pretty good at that, as evidenced as that huge comeback win against Tsitsipas, allowing the moment to overcome him too much.
(30-15). (30).
Can Zverev hit the accelerator here? 6th game, just move clear. Edge a little closer to the line. No, it's deep.
Sorry to challenge the call
I
on
think
the
he's
right
missed this.
baseline. The ball was called out.
Ball definitely looked long on the forehand yet again. That forehand approach shot, Lee, really could be the tale of this entire match. When he's been making those shots, he's been winning. When he's been missing those shots,
Sorry
in
has 2
trouble.
challenges remaining.
Yeah, that one missed by a good distance, and it brings up a break point for Zverev. Two of 5 he's converted so far in the match. First of this 4th set for the German.
Deuce.
decent serve there. Zverev definitely had a look at making that forehand return. Just getting into his body a little bit.
Advantage Coric.
It's a nice time for your 5th ace. Had a few out wide in the deuce court.
Game Coric.
It was a
3 games all, 4th set.
good reaction from Borna Coric coming through the game. Didn't catch it on camera, but a raised fist towards the coach, which is a good sign if you're a Borna Coric fan right now. Still believes that was a key hold and then he can come through this one.
$15 left. $30 left.
Zverev starting to dial in those first serves. Lee, there's a jacket for you.
That is eye-catching.
Yeah.
I guess he likes pineapples.
That'd go over well in Hawaii.
$30-15.
2 aces, 1 double fault. That's 17 aces for the match, 12 double faults for the match.
$40-15.
Riding his luck.
Zverev.
Complete shank off the overhead.
Zverev leads 4 games to 3.
Finds the line with the forehands, but he's ahead again. 4-3, 4th set. Coric serving 3-4.
Quite like that play coming forward from Zverev. Try to put a little pressure on Coric if you can. Force him to pass a few times, especially in that forehand side.
127 points to 126 in Zverev's favor. Gives you a good indication of how tight this has been.
$15.
Marcelo Melo is going nowhere. He's going to last the distance by the looks of things. 3 hours 16 on the clock now, just gone 5 p.m. local time.
$15-13.
Forehand error. Coric side of things.
He is catching him up, isn't he, in the unforced errors. It was fairly lopsided initially after probably the first hour or so. Zverev with many more unforced errors, but the German with 46 now. Coric not far behind with 39. dear.
15-40.
His second double fault. It's come at potentially the worst possible time.
It's one of those doubles I call a pressure double fault. Good returning in Zverev. Also the point in the match right there, 15-30.
Golden chances here for Zverev. Chance to go up 5-3. Saves the first.
$30-40.
Good stuff from Borna on that one. Getting quickly up to this short ball. Getting the racket through nicely on that one.
Holds his nerve. Can he repeat that? Zverev with a second break point. He's got him.
Game, Zverev.
What a pass. Perfectly timed. And Zverev strikes.
Zverev leads 5-3. Fourth set.
Maybe Jan Michael just a little tentative with the forehand again, but perhaps those misses in the back of his mind.
Yeah, I think he didn't just quite didn't get enough on this one here. Although not the easiest shot. Definitely gave Zverev a look at that one.
No, you can't argue about the quality, can you? Alexander Zverev, then the number 5 seed, just a game away from the semi-finals.
15 love.
Should Zverev get through this one, Borna watches these tapes again. He can take a lot from this and say, hey, I just need to work on this forehand a little bit, execute a little bit better. It could have been me getting through to the semifinals.
Oh, brilliant.
It's a great pass there. And let's not forget that Borna plays the big points well, especially when he's down.
15-all.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Tsitsipas match as well. 2-1 down, 5-3 down. He's got him where he wants him. He's done it once. This tournament, an incredible recovery.
$15-30.
I love the body language as well. It's something that we've talked about throughout Borna Coric's career. Staring defeat in the face, but he's trying to maintain a positive attitude, send that message down the far end of the court.
30-all.
Yeah, if you're coaching somebody and you want to have them have a positive attitude, to have them take a look at Borna Coric on the court. He's always putting his best foot forward. Great attitude out there.
2 points required for Zverev. Just the one now. The return lands long.
40-30.
It's been the tightest of matches. If you put that first set to one side.
Can you sit down? You with the camera. Sorry.
Match point. Oh, just a smidgen wide.
Deuce.
I must have thought, have I done enough? It's the cameraman just getting a bit of frustration sent his way from Coric.
Refusing to sit down, too.
Zverev with another chance.
Advantage
It's
Zverev.
interesting that those cameramen are allowed to be up there. That would not be normal. They'd usually be down on the court. You aren't usually allowed to stand back there.
Match point number 2. No, he's made it.
Zverev is challenging the call on the left far sideline. The
I
ball was
thought this
called
looked
in.
okay.
He's going to challenge it, but that ball looked like it caught the line.
Goodness me, if he's made this pass. Match point down.
Is there more magic in the Coric racket? Certainly on this one.
He has. He's
Use.
caught the line and he's still alive.
Zverev has 2 challenges remaining.
2 match points saved. Remember the 6 against Tsitsipas.
Let. Second service.
The big one again.
Coric is challenging the call on the left far sideline. The ball was called out.
It's landed in a similar position to the backhand pass, isn't it? It's just hopeful that he's caught some of the line here with the inside-out forehand.
Advantage Zverev.
Audible response there from Borna.
Yeah,
Coric has 1 challenge remaining.
the result he was hoping for. Third chance then for Zverev to finish the job. This
Game, set,
time
and
he
match.
seals it.
Zverev.
Alexander
3 sets
Zverev
to 1.
can call himself
1-6,
a US
7-6,
Open
7-6,
semi-finalist. And it's the second major semi-final of the season for the German. What a fantastic effort. It was a tight one and he's come through in 4 sets.